Hey, welcome back to the Strength in Your Herd podcast. We are on episode 4, but before we jump into it, I want to let you know this may not be the episode for you if you're sensitive to foul language, dark humor, and touchy subjects. So, with that being said, viewer discretion is advised. Listen at your own risk, and if you're up for some fun, stay tuned. Well, heck. You ready to get into this?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know what we're talking about. He sent me the thing, and I was like, I don't know what any of that is.
It's the Strength in Your Herd podcast, dude. So, welcome everybody back to the Strength in Your Herd podcast, and this is episode 4 now.
Oh.
So we've done 1. That's just a quick, down and dirty intro on what the podcast is about to be about. I went through and did one on what Strength in Your Herd means to me. Tiffany did one as well, and you are our first guest.
Oh.
And the idea behind you and some of those others that we're planning, it's kind of like a meet the herd.
Okay.
And you're part of the herd, and this is the Strength in Your Herd podcast. So you are guest number 1.
Well, I do resemble a lot of the members of your herd because I am large and hairy.
You are large and hairy.
I move kind of slow, and I get angry sometimes.
And what do people call you? What's your name?
Tatanka.
Tatanka. JT Tatanka, Moto Madness, Bad Boy is what we're going to go with now.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Not really.
Yeah. So, yeah, you asked what we were going to do. And like you and I have done before on your podcast, this is
my one episode podcast.
Yeah. Well, and then your other podcast too, which you've got a few more episodes for. No script, no agenda.
Just talking.
But Strength in Your Herd. What does Strength in Your Herd mean to you? And it's different for everybody. It's different for me than it is for Tiffany. It's going to be different for you. But I know that you give a lot of yourself to other people. That service is a big deal to you. You have a long history of service in a lot of different ways. And we've talked about it just as friends, off the mic, off the record, and what we can do to take care of ourselves, strengthen ourselves, to help ourselves better help our families, those around us, and how many layers are that to the ripple effect going outward. Yeah, so that's kind of it.
I can tell you the first thing I thought of when you started blasting the Strength in Your Herd, your Instagram page, and just talking about it and what you post. First thing I thought of is 4 quarters, not 100 pennies. Do you know what I mean by that?
I have an idea, but I want to hear you run me through it.
So it's, what do you want in your pocket? Do you want 4 good, solid quarters?
Mm-hmm.
Just not taking up a ton of space, but it's got the same value? Or do you want 100 little dirty, been rolling around in parking lots covered in tar? They're tarnished and kind of gross.
Yeah.
And you have to have 100 of them to equal the same 4.
Quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. Which do you want to carry?
Mm-hmm.
Which do you want in your pocket all day long?
Yeah.
I'd rather have the 4 than the 100.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw Strength in Your Herd was quality over quantity.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then if you want to go deeper on it, there's more of an aspect of like, okay, so you have your 4. This is your current herd. But what can you do to clean up the 100?
Yeah.
Like how do you polish those pennies? Do you put them in vinegar? Give them a little rub down?
Yeah.
Work them over a little bit? Clean them up. Mm-hmm. What can you do to help pull other people and make them shine again? Yeah, so it's kind of a two-part answer is quality over quantity, but then how do you clean up the I don't want to, this is probably going to be taken wrong, the lower quality.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not that those 25 pennies are of less value than the 1 quarter.
Right.
But they're not shining as bright as they could be.
They're not shining as bright. They take up a lot of room.
Yeah. They do.
And, I mean, you know how it is when you remember cargo shorts? Walking around with all that.
I still roll around in cargo shorts. Are you kidding me?
Not me. I am an Origin jean man. That's it. That's all.
If you catch me in shorts outside of the gym, cargo, dude, I carry too many things. Nope. I need the room.
Gym shorts, Origin jeans. Boom, we're done.
That's fair. But yes, I remember cargo shorts.
Yes. Anyways, you remember the big filling up your pockets with everything you could fit in there. Your Walkman, your CDs, your wallet that's this thick, full of every gift card you've ever been given, and it gets pretty bulky and smacking against the leg all day long. You catch it on the door handle, and it's just kind of like, why am I doing this? Why am I carrying this around?
Yep. Yeah. So. Yeah, it takes up space, and
it's annoying.
You ever carry a gun in your cargo pocket?
No, I never carry.
It starts banging up against your knee, and you get bruised.
The one I hated was carrying on my ankle and smacking against my ankle bone all the time. That was
too.
Annoying.
So. Yeah. When at what point in your life were you carrying a gun on your ankle? If you want to talk about it, if you ever want to draw a line and say, nope, that's off.
That was a whole nother life ago. But I used to be a trash man for the state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One more example of giving of yourself to other people.
I've for I don't know, the first 2 decades of my life, it was not my after high school was all law enforcement and United States military service. So got out of that, started working in blue collar fields, welding, and now truck driving, oil field, and because of the first part of my life, the love and support I have for U.S. veterans and law enforcement and firefighters and EMTs, and I want to be there to support the people that are actively giving themselves to help others. So,
because you've been there and you've done it.
I've been there and I've done it. I know how hard it is and how you go home at the end of the day, and sometimes it's everything you can do to just hold it together.
Yeah, definitely.
You get one too many fatal accidents with young children involved, or you get in one too many fights where Tiny Tim feels like he can take you down, and sometimes the couch is the safe place.
Yeah.
And I get so tired of reading about veterans that are joining the 22, and I don't think it's necessary, and I think we can be there and help them out of that. And I want people to know that they don't have to choose that.
Yeah.
It's not a choice that's necessary.
It shouldn't be a choice at all.
Shouldn't be.
It's a bummer that it is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, way, way, way more than those that would actually admit it, have kicked around the idea.
Oh, yeah.
To varying degrees of seriousness, I guess. But I think most of them have kicked around the idea at one point or another.
Oh, yeah.
Just the question of,
what
am I doing?
I've been there.
Yeah.
Been there.
Yeah.
And it's, I think there's, like you said, there's different degrees. Is there's the intrusive thoughts that you go, push that over there. Get back in your back in your closet. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And then there's those that dwell on it and put a lot more thought into it and actually, start to plan. And that is probably the most unfortunate thing I can think of.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like, I know this to be true, but for the purposes of this conversation, it sounded like you've got a heart to give of yourself to other people and help them through whatever they might be going through.
Yeah.
For a variety of reasons. And you've seen some of it, dealt with some of it, experienced some of it. How did you come into a position where you felt led to join the military or join law enforcement? Was it just a cool job when you were of age?
When I was in high school, I was the dude, I wanted to fly naval aircraft so bad.
Yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing on sliced bread. And then, I don't know, I had a bit of reality check and somehow ended up in the Army National Guard and artillery. And I really didn't have the military career that I would have dreamed of, but I loved every minute that I did have.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what do you mean you didn't have the career that you dreamed of?
I mean, I wasn't flying F-14 Tomcats with Tom Cruise or anything.
Well, yeah. I suppose not. That would be cool.
Apparently, you have to do good in high school to get in to fly.
Yeah. I went through a period of time where I had high hopes and dreams of being a fighter pilot as well.
Yeah. I think every boy does.
Probably.
Mostly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man.
Maybe some like to drive tanks.
I have a friend that was in the 3rd Cavalry driving tanks, and he's got some cool stories. And he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
And I've told people, like, I'm a tank, not a jet. Like when it comes to fitness and like rucks and runs and PT that we would do.
I'm slow. I'll get it done, but
yeah.
Get your calendar out.
Jets and tanks. I mean, they both do work. But yeah, driving tanks and kicking doors and all the little things that little boys dream to do.
Yeah.
All the cool guy stuff. And it turned out a little bit different for you.
Yeah.
But you still signed your name on that line, and you were willing to give of yourself to your country for whatever they needed.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I'm friends with a lot of guys that did, or know guys that did. You know, so.
And with the 22 a day you mentioned, still are. I don't know that it would be appropriate to say that those lives lost aren't of the same sacrifice.
No, they are.
Yeah.
I count them exactly the same as guys that didn't come home from Afghanistan or Iraq or the Gulf War or Vietnam or France. Mm-hmm. If they came home and they made that choice, I hold them in the same regard.
Yep. I would too, definitely. So how long was your enlistment?
I did 6 years plus 2.
Okay. So. And was that, because I know you went to college as well, was that before college, after college?
Same.
Same. All right.
That was the perk of the National Guard is I got to go get a degree in 2 weeks a year, 1 week in a month.
Yeah. Awesome. So get out of college, get out of the Guard, and then
got my dream job as a state trash man.
Okay.
Did that for 2 years, and I was like, this ain't it. Mm-hmm. This is actually quite terrible. I don't want to do this anymore. Uh-huh. Took a little break and learned how to weld and started building things. Mm-hmm. And then did that for the next almost 15 years, I think.
15 years welding?
Yeah.
And you've done all sorts of welding. It wasn't just like one kind.
Building guardrails for the city of Fort Collins, building handrails, building stair rails, building decorative art for art projects, to frack mud tanks, to skids in the oil field, trash bins, racks for a beer company that they load all their lids into on their production lines, to fixing tractors, and I've done everything. MIG, TIG, stick, all of it.
Yeah.
The only thing I haven't done out in the cold in North Dakota is pipelining, but I never really wanted to.
Dude, you know what I really wanted to do for a long, because we talked about dreaming of being in the military and whatnot. Well, for a variety of reasons, I didn't enlist, but there was a period of time where I was hell-bent on enlisting in the Navy and becoming a Navy diver and welding underwater.
Those guys have a wildly short lifespan.
I know.
Yeah, wildly short.
And at the time, at 18, I'm like, that's fine.
Good. No.
Well, I'll live plenty long enough. I don't care. In hindsight, it's certainly the right decision for me, but I had dreams of welding underwater. I think that would have been rad. Commercial diving.
I have a bit of a phobia of open water.
Like
a serious phobia
about you,
but like I'm not down to go swimming in lakes. I'll get in the ocean to where I can like walk out to, but I don't want to get on a boat and then go swim in the ocean because there's like megalodons and dinosaurs that eat people still.
But like you are the Kraken though.
No. There are dinosaur sharks out there, man.
That's true. Well,
yeah.
You could
get that little seaweed brush on the calf. I'll freak out.
Dude, I got attacked in open water once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was on a dive in the ocean. I'm trying to remember where it was. I think it doesn't matter what it was, but we were coming up. We had just done a safety stop to get the extra nitrogen out of your system before surfacing. And I'm hanging out, just floating there, waiting to climb the ladder to get back up on the boat. And from behind, underneath, this thing just comes up and I'm talking bites my leg. It was a perch. You can laugh out loud, it's okay. But for a second, I'm like, who the heck behind me is pinching my calf?
But see, if I'd had that situation, it would have assisted me out into the boat. I would have looked
like a dolphin.
I'd been like Aquaman, just coming out of the
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
When we were in Maui, when we got married, I decided I was going to be, big, bad, tough dude. And, one of those, like, giant pools that they have with the waterfall that you see in all the movies.
Yeah.
We found one of those.
Right.
And I was like, I'm going to go swim in it. And I got out to the middle, and it was cold because it was all mountain runoff water from the top of the volcano. So it was ice water.
Yeah.
And like I kind of dove down, and I realized that this pit was like 60 feet deep.
Yeah.
And I right back out. No, I don't like that.
Oh, that's funny. We did that when I lived on Maui as well, and like same sort of thing. You're hiking and you're climbing and you're getting hot and sweaty and dirty, and it's like, oh, this waterfall into a pool. It's just like the movies, just like you're saying. Yeah. Let's take a dip.
A, it's cold.
It is cold. Yeah.
B, you can't see in it.
No, you can't.
There's a picture of me on my Instagram of that, and I look horrified as I'm swimming out of the water. Like I just have this look on my face, just like terror.
I might have to dig through the depths
I saw it earlier today.
Yeah. Cool. Dang.
Yeah. I don't open water real well.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. So you're welding, and then you were still welding when I met you.
Right.
How did we meet?
Facebook, pretty sure.
Something like
Instagram,
that.
maybe.
One of the two.
You
started creeping on.
I was like, hey, this dude has bison, and he's not that far from me, and I would like to eat more bison. Let me talk to this guy.
Hashtag eat more bison. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I told you my idea. You know the Eat More Beef license plates?
Yeah.
We need to Eat More Bison license plate.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I don't have the money to do that, but
well, it's Colorado. Like you just have to write a letter, and I'm sure they'll just start pumping them out. There's 3,407 exactly, 3,407 different plates you can get in Colorado. I just made that up. It's not true.
There's a whole bunch of different colors of the same plate with a different image in Colorado.
That's true. That's true. But
it's not like Tennessee where there's actually 300 different plates.
Because they have 300 different counties.
Yeah.
And then 3 versions for each county.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I have family in Tennessee, and I've gone out there, and I'm like, wait, we've driven for 3 minutes, and we've gone through 2 counties?
You can get a Tennessee license plate with a University of Mississippi college logo on it.
Jeez.
Explain that.
Tennessee logic. I don't know.
What?
That's Appalachia for you.
Like I know in Colorado you can get Air Force, CU, CSU.
Yeah.
UNC. Done.
Metro has their little Roadrunner thing out there.
Which is a weird college anyways, but
yeah. I'm surprised that like Front Range and Ames and all the community colleges don't have them too.
Yeah.
But so that's how we met.
Yep.
I think you asked.
I creep for your meat.
What's that?
I creep for your meat.
Yeah, you do. I'm not ashamed of that. I'll take what I can get. But you asked what I thought was a very weird question on our bison page. So it wasn't to me or it wasn't to Tiffany, and I'm pretty sure you asked something about the design. And I think you were referencing the design of our fence. I think you were curious about building the infrastructure for the herd.
Yeah, I was, because I was curious what, like, you're not keeping them in with a 4-foot barbed wire fence.
Exactly.
And so it was
the same time that we were building our house, though. And I was like, who is this?
I think I had it in my mind because I knew you had posted about building something or, like, starting the actual ranch. And I was like, hey, let me come help. And you give me some meat.
Probably. But I was so creeped out because there's this random dude asking our business page for the design of what I thought the design of our house. And you were just asking the design of our fence, and it was weird. But then we ended up talking, and I remember I was sitting on the couch upstairs. I don't remember how we were going back and forth on Instagram. And then we're like, all right, you're kind of cool. Let me get them digits.
Kind of.
And all of a sudden it's like, wait, your day job is that? You're a cop? Well, and I was hesitant to share that.
Yeah, you
you're like, well, I was a trooper as well, so. And then
AAA with a gun.
Yeah. Then it was like, well, somehow I was
a road pirate.
Wait, you have a motorcycle? Did we just become best friends?
That was it. Oh, we're gonna go ride. And then
So bison, day jobs, motorbikes, and meat. And so here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you know the Go Fast Don't Die motorcycles, mayhem, and mischief?
Yeah.
We should do motorcycles, meat, and what was the other thing you just said? Oh, I forgot. It was so good.
Something that I just said?
Yeah, you literally just said it. It was like motorcycles, meat, and...
day jobs.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
It was a good idea.
Well,
it's gone.
We'll listen to it. It'll come back to us. Part 2 is pending.
Yeah. Yeah,
and so now you're not welding anymore?
No, I decided that crawling around on concrete floors is great when you're 20. When you're 35, it's not that great.
Yeah.
Lifting 200-pound, 300-pound steel plates without having an overhead crane or finding the correct tools or junk laying around to leverage those kind of hurts after a while.
It wears on you.
And you can only get paid so much. And I'd been married, 2 years, I think. And we had our first kid, and I was like, time to move on. So
yeah. So now you're driving all over.
Now I drive semis.
That's rad too.
And
it's kind of cool.
Love the shit out of it.
Good. You should.
I like it. I like driving. Driving is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. It's,
I think we've had conversations about the truck thoughts. I literally get to solve all my problems, but then create new ones.
Yes.
In 6 hours in silence.
Yeah. It's amazing. You got to be careful with it.
Oh, you got to be so careful. You can go so dark so fast.
And you don't always win that drive.
Nope.
Like sometimes you beat yourself in it. Sometimes you overcome yourself as well.
There's been, on occasion, I've had to text you, or I'll call Spooky, Matt, or Ghost, and I'm like, hey, I need you to talk me down from this. I had a good idea that is not a good idea at all.
Yeah. But a lot of those ideas are good ideas, and a lot of those ideas
there's some bad ones in there.
There are some bad ones. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Yeah. But I know that we both spent a lot of time thinking about all sorts of things. But it's not just like, oh, that was a pretty colored bird that I just drove by,
it's
or
not even that ever.
This, that, or the other. It's pretty deep. Like you make a habit of getting into some deep places. And like coffee and chaos was an idea that came to me driving south.
It's still an idea.
But where did your idea for the predecessor of coffee and chaos and some of that stuff come from?
Save One Hero.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not exactly where that idea came from, but it was another association that you're not involved with, but me and my other two buddies are involved with. We were having some, I don't know, moral dilemma with, and I just wanted to take a different direction on how to help people, and I wanted to be more specific instead of just having an open blanket of here for veterans. I wanted to pinpoint veterans that are struggling with PTSD, TBI, that are having suicidal thoughts. I wanted to be much more specific. And so that's how that kind of rooted out. Is I love this organization, but it's not meshing with what I want to focus on.
Sure.
And so that's how Save One Hero came up. And unfortunately, starting your own 501c3 charity and running it is a lot of work. And
it's a ton.
We didn't not survive. We still exist, but we're definitely on pause.
Yeah. The big period of transition right now.
Yeah. We've got to figure a lot of things out to make us functional. And
because the last meeting was there was a vote to go in a very different direction, which everybody was on board with.
Backpedal, pause, and reassess and go forward. And I think we're going to do it. Initially, I think our focus was like the whole region, like all of Colorado, all of Wyoming, all of the Rocky Mountains, and then maybe we'll push this nationally. And I think now we're like, whoa. How about our community right here?
Yeah. 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 Isolate that effort.
Yeah.
Focus on the parts of that herd that are right here for us, and then start small bites. Small and if bites. It spreads, if it catches, awesome.
Well, one of the ideas that we threw out is if we can get one guy that needs help, and we can almost like a AA situation. You take one guy that needs help, and we coach him, and we train him, and then we're all trained in recognizing suicidal identity and thoughts, and we get him to where he feels comfortable that I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then we teach him the same things we know, and now he finds a guy. And so like each one is just like we just build this giant tree of a nice warm hug,
dude. And for me, that is the epitome of strength in your herd.
Yeah.
It's a different group of people. It's a different organization, some different specific objectives for the mission. But you and 2 other dudes decided that you were going to make this official.
Mm-hmm.
And
we did.
You founded it.
We ran with it.
Yeah, and you ran
and
with
we
it.
went, wow.
And you got a couple more people on board. But the heart of that, if we can find that one person, okay, the 3 of us, like, we've gone through some things.
Mm-hmm.
You and the other 2 are all veterans. Mm-hmm. The other 2 are combat veterans.
They're my combat vet buddies. One was a Marine in Afghanistan, and he's got a crazy story that I've been bothering him for years to write a book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want a book from that dude because he's got a wild story. I don't want to share it, but
yeah,
because it's not my story.
It's his to
but
share.
It's his, and it's just a crazy situation. And I'm like, you have to tell this because if you look at World War II and Vietnam guys that have those wild stories and they've never published them or never put them to paper, and now they're passing away, and their kids might know it, but their kids don't know it well enough to write it.
Sure.
And so I've always, anybody I meet that has a combat story, I'm like, did you write it? Even if you just journal it and have it in a book that we can photocopy, good enough. Mm-hmm. But I think everybody should be publishing their story, their combat story, their veteran story.
Why? I have my own ideas on the value I think that could
you know how much I love history.
Yeah.
And I think you can see it every single day now with what's happening in our world, is that we're just in a big cycle, just a big world cycle of bad decisions. Mm-hmm. And you can, things that happened in 1970 between the United States and Iran are now influencing us with Ukraine and Russia and Iran.
Yeah.
50 years. Mm-hmm. If we know even just intimate little detail stories of, small skirmishes or, small conversations had, lay it all out and look at the big picture board, you can go, oh, maybe we shouldn't go down this road. Mm-hmm. But even on a completely different direction, just your grandkids not knowing what happened to you. They want to know what grandpa's story is.
Yeah.
So I think everybody should even just journal it out.
And even if you don't think your story is all that cool,
I bet you it is. I probably do.
There's someone that's going to care about it, and maybe not every chapter of the book. But I'm a huge believer in nothing beats the wisdom of experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And there's so much that we can learn from each other, regardless of that experience. And the other thing, you mentioned like coming generations. There's another saying that I really believe in, and that it's good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment.
Yes.
I've learned lessons the hard way, but I've been fortunate enough to watch some other people learn hard lessons.
You cannot be a good leader unless you yourself have had your ass kicked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a truth.
Point period, the end. If you have never had your face in the mud, I probably don't trust you that much.
Yeah. We could take an exit on that conversation for sure.
Oh, but
kind of getting back to Save One, 2 combat vets that you were forming that with, and the focus of like, hey, if we can get that one guy, if we can help him get his feet underneath of him, get him to a place where he's ready to give of himself to find another guy.
Yeah.
That is strength in your herd.
Yeah.
It's like the 3 of you have overcome your own obstacles in various ways, came together to form that herd, and now you're trying to bring someone else into it, to bring them up, to polish that penny, turn them into a quarter, and see what other change you can collect along the way to keep building that.
I've never said that my purpose was, I'm not trying to change the world, but if I can fix two or 3 or 5 or 10 guys, I'll feel pretty good.
When I
don't even, fix is not the right word. Just make them feel better about themselves.
There's no fixing it.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's combat trauma or law enforcement trauma or any civilians, anyone that's not in a service profession, you see hard things. Life throws
EMS.
Yeah.
Those guys in the back of the meat bus.
Yeah.
They see some not cool, not okay things.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay things.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Dispatchers too. I used to really underestimate like the vicarious trauma that they go through.
Yeah. They get to hear it. They can't do anything about it.
And all they can do is watch someone drive on a map and hope that they ask the right questions fast enough before you can't anymore. So
dispatchers are a special breed for sure. Yeah. I used to make sure my dispatchers were very happy so that I got the good calls.
I've been on the wrong list a couple times where it's like, another barking dog. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Rolling TV. Can't wait.
Yep. It happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone can go through it. It's a lot to learn and a lot to do. And like I said, you can't fix it. Mm-mm. Once it's broken, you can try to glue it back together. The crack's going to be there. But you can start to glue things back together and get it straightened up.
I'm not smart enough to know what this is called or educated to know, but I think it's Chinese or Japanese.
The broken clay pot
broken
thing.
pots back together with gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's glued together.
I don't remember.
We got shiny happy spots in here. Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called either.
I'm not that educated.
There was a girl that sang a song about that at that open mic thing that our buddy did back over the summer.
Yes,
I think that was the first time that I heard about that, but it's pretty cool.
I've heard about it here and there. It's not a thing I have ever dove into, but yeah, I know it exists. I know what it is.
Yeah. Well, a lot of life happened for Save One and for the group as an entity, and then also individuals. You had a kid. I had a kid. There were some deaths.
The other two guys decided to go pursue masters, which I love for them. There was some family deaths. There was a good friend that passed away. Yeah, we kind of got rocked in 2024. Yep, kind of like everybody else did.
Talk about God's timing. Like, you have a group of dudes getting together, and there were girls too, but a group of people getting together to try to strengthen each other and form this foundation to help people get through hard things. And how many hard things did you guys go through that year? God's timing, just bringing you together to get each other through that, may have been the first step, or maybe only step. I don't know, but a big deal there.
That's an interesting perspective.
Hadn't thought about it.
Hadn't thought about it.
Because we've talked about the events and all sorts of things, but yeah. And then moving on from there, things have shifted a little bit, but some of the ideas that we came up with in those meetings, Coffee and Chaos is one of them. I
still love that one, and we still need to do that one. That one's my favorite.
We talked about, when are we going to get together and brainstorm about that and figure it out?
I made a Facebook page. We just haven't done anything with it. And all it is you and me saying, hey, let's go meet at 3 o'clock at a coffee shop and post on Let's Talk Wellington or whatever Fort Collins page is, or Car None, wherever.
Sure.
And say, hey, veterans and law enforcement, come chill and have coffee.
Yep. And just hang out.
We don't have to talk about anything.
Yep.
We don't have to talk about whatever it is you're going through. We can talk about your new project. We can talk about your family, your kids. I don't care. Just come hang out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And who doesn't like coffee? I know a lot of people, I guess. But
it took a long time for me to get into coffee. I'm still barely into it.
I didn't like coffee until I became a cop. And I even worked at coffee shops.
I fully went through being in law enforcement and was like, don't want it. It's gross.
All right.
It's just now that my wife was a district manager for a large coffee chain, and I'm like, okay, it's all right. She makes me coffee that I like to drink, and then I go buy coffee, and I'm like, this sucks.
Well, what are you doing for yourself? How do you take care of yourself to make sure you can take care of your family? And what's your family doing to pour into other people? Because I know that this doesn't stop at just you.
So that's a challenging question. What am I doing for myself is I'm mostly just trying to get my own health in order, because I was getting pretty rough there. And at the direction and travel of pace of travel I was going, I was not going to be around for my kids long into life.
And that's what you told me when you turned 39.
Yeah. Which was not even 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm. You told me I'm not doing 40 this.
I'm not playing anymore.
You told me about,
and I've messed around with lifting and with dieting and with bodybuilding. I use air quotes because I never did it seriously. I love the idea.
I build a body every time I put a fork to my mouth. Let me tell you what.
Build a soft body, maybe. I've dabbled and thought about it and talked about it and said I was going to do things and posted pictures and talked myself up, and I've done all that for 20 years.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's very hard.
It's hard.
And after a while, do you ever reach the point where you're like tired of your own shit?
Yeah.
Like I am absolutely full of bananas right now.
And it becomes more and more frequent for me the further into life I get.
And you get in your semi and you drive for 6 hours and you just say very mean, hateful things about yourself to yourself. And you're like, this is crap.
And it's twisted because sometimes in that moment it can be super motivating.
It is.
And then I find that, okay, the next morning when I do wake up early enough to go to the gym, I've already talked myself into such a you suck spot that...
Dude, the one that bothers me so much is I'll be in the semi listening to awesome music and podcasts, and I will be so hyped up and like texting you like, oh, we're going to go to the gym. We're going to power this. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then I get home and I sleep and I wake up and I turn on TV and I'm like, I'm good. I'm fine here.
Dude, it happened to me this morning. Like, I woke up and I was like, oh, bed is nice.
Bed is nice. Couch is nice.
Bed is nice. And for whatever reason, I was like, I need to check in with him and see if he ever made it over to the gym.
Where was I? I was
you
were
on your way
to the gym.
Because we've talked about stuff for a while.
You been to the gym yet? I'm going now.
And I'm like, I knew like I wouldn't be able to face you tomorrow or a week from now and be like, yeah, I just laid in bed when you went in for your first workout.
You were there.
So thank you for going to the gym and
that's a nice gym.
By proxy, guilting me into it. Yeah, it is a nice gym. It's not massive. It's kind of a little bit off the beaten path.
I like that it's kind of a blend between a good old iron gym, like an old school iron gym, but they got a little bit more towards, I don't want to say Planet Fitness because I would never attend a Planet Fitness ever. A little bit more commercial side. Yeah. Everything's clean. Everything's maintained. They have lots of equipment. It's in good condition. Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah. But anyways, you're trying to get yourself in order because you woke up 39, said, I'm not doing 40 like this.
Not playing
and
with
you
all
told
these
me, like,
metabolic diseases and eating like absolute trash, knowing that I shouldn't and that it's not good for me, but then just like doing it and feeling terrible. It's exhausting.
And the career change to just sit in a truck for hours on end.
Because welding was wildly more active than I knew.
Yeah.
More ever thought about. And when I switched and started driving trucks and I was sitting for 12 to 15 hours a day and my body went, Fook!
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
Well, and you ended up with some problems. You had blood clot.
I had a lot of problem. I had one confirmed blood clot and at least two that I was like, I'm not going to go to the doctor. We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let's gamble here a little bit.
Yeah, rolling the dice with blood clots is fine. Whatever.
It sounds great. Don't do it. It's not advised. My wife would be so mad. She's gonna be mad because she's gonna listen to this.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
It'll be a good test.
No, she's gonna be mad. She'll be like, you.
But yeah, you had that experience. But sweetheart, now I'm doing all these things. The day I recorded this confession is the day I joined the gym. So hopefully that'll help smooth some things over.
On top of the blood clots, my legs were swelling so bad that like my feet hurt. Dude, I couldn't get up and just like walk. Normally it was like ginger step. Okay, I'm fine now. And I had one drive that I got lost because it happens. I was up on the mountain down by Colburn.
Yeah,
it was in the mountains.
Yeah,
no cell signal, no pin, no map. I was like, I knew where I was looking for, but I couldn't find the road to get to it. So I literally just drove around this mountain for like 8 hours.
Dang.
And the next day when I got home, my legs looked like pumpkins and it hurt.
I bet.
Bad.
I bet. Like you're just about to pop.
Yeah. It would do my feet were so tight. I said to Marianne, I was like, I think my feet are going to like burst. She's like, you should probably figure that out. Because, you've met her. You know how she's a little bit like, cool, problem. You going to figure it out?
Don't come to me with problems. Come to me with solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just, okay, you're right.
I remember, lay on your back, elevate your legs, tried it. If you can ice them, and you're like, well, there's actually some information contradicting the ice value and stuff like that. So,
dude, information on the internet is horrible right now.
But we're trying to figure out.
Heat it. Don't heat it. Ice it. Don't ice it.
Yeah.
I put a TENS unit on my leg. That felt good until I got electrical burns on my skin.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, okay, we're not going to go that route anymore.
Dang.
And then I started looking into Mideastern, not like acupuncture, but like herbs.
Sure.
Basically.
A more holistic approach.
Yeah. People have been around a long time. I guarantee you somebody knows a way to do this that isn't pharmaceutical. And I found the first solution I found was horse chestnut. And that worked really well, except there's an acidity level to it. If you take too much, it becomes poison, basically. And I noticed that my feet and legs were bright red. Looked like a lobster. I was like, that's probably not good. Didn't hurt. I'm just, why?
But the swelling had gone down some.
Swelling had gone, dude. I look like an athlete. Like my legs look like I just ran a race, all vascular and tight. And I was like, wow, I haven't seen that in a couple decades. But why do they look like a fire engine right now?
Right.
And so I did some research on PubMed, and there's another one called French Maritime Pine Bark Extract.
Is it pine bark or birch bark?
Pine bark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you told me about that recently.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought this up.
And the study I found basically says there's no toxicity level to it. Mm-hmm. And in the 40 studies that they did on it, there was an increased percentage of decreased leg circumference, which is edema.
Okay, yeah.
And the worst side effects of it were maybe a little bit of nausea. Maybe not.
The typical nausea, headache, diarrhea, whatever.
Which I didn't have at all. Uh-huh. And works great.
Are you still taking it?
Oh, I take it every day. Yeah, I take a lot of it every day, actually. I take 800 milligrams a day. It says you only need 300, and I'm like, I'm a big guy. I'm going to double that up.
You know what? There you go.
I take things like I take NyQuil. Like, I'm a big guy. Chug, chug, chug.
Yeah, so you're telling me about the pine bark.
No, the pine bark. So I started taking pine bark for my legs. Then the other thing I did is, good old male bodies and how we like to shut down on ourselves. I started TRT in a small dose.
I'm going to stop you for a second. Because, yes, we like to stop ourselves. And you're talking about the T reductions as we age.
T reductions as you age.
But there's a whole second side of that coin, with environmental factors, which might be a separate episode. Oh, environmental factors?
What are you talking about?
All the trash that we consume and things that are being leached into us, reducing those T levels. Yeah.
Yes, no, I'm on board with that conversation. I thought we were talking about the TRT is bad because it wastes water or whatever. No. I was like, okay.
No. But
yes, I agree with you. Yeah, no, because of the trash we eat.
Yeah. So
we don't have any hormones because we eat poison all day long.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Which, that's a lot of what we talked about on the episode we did on your podcast, Tatanka in the Weeds. Or what did the name ended up
Tatanka
being?
in the Weeds.
Tatanka in the Weeds.
Yeah. All one episode.
Hey, you know what? It was a strong episode.
It was a strong starter except for the wind noise.
But, I've listened to it a couple times and it wasn't that bad. And I think it's something that we could remedy if we wanted to do another episode in the herd at some point.
I think we could. I think if we built a backdrop behind our camera, it probably would have been better. Just a chunk of cardboard.
Yeah.
Probably would have helped.
Yeah. So go listen to that if people want to hear some of our thoughts of
You can link in the show notes
and stuff. I don't know how to do that. I'll give it a shot. Do you know how to do it?
I kind of know. What are you going to publish with? Are you going to publish with Riverside or?
I don't think so.
What are you going to go with?
I have that subscription to Riverside, and they sell themselves incredibly well.
Yes, they do.
But I think for what I'm trying
to... It's impossible to use for what we want to use.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do basically Zoom podcasts, it's great. We're getting way off topic again.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can figure out a better way to do that, I'm sure.
Definitely. So we'll see. When
I get my garage, I'm going to build something like this, and we'll have a studio, and that's how it's going to be.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll do it, dude. But anyways, so it'll be on a few different things, but if I can do that link thing, fancy, whatever. If not, it's Tatanka in the Weeds. It's on YouTube and Spotify for sure. Do you have it on Apple as well?
It's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. There was one other one that I don't recall.
All right. Well, that'll be an adventure for me to figure out.
Spotify's my favorite. I like Spotify.
So. Yeah, me too, for sure. YouTube if you want to watch stuff, but they're putting videos on Spotify now too.
You can video it.
So,
yeah.
Anyways, people can go listen to all the food opinions and medical opinions and government opinions and post office meth lab stories. I forgot about that on that episode.
Anybody ever come knock on the door over that one?
No.
Okay.
No. But like you said, like how many tweakers listen to these podcasts?
Probably not many.
They're still listening to jeez.
Trying to learn how to
Hatchet Man ICP. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the Honduran chick I pulled over that had like 37 tire irons in the back seat?
No.
Yeah. Immediate call for backup. What are you going to do with those?
Like you can't even like you're one person. You can't even say, "Oh, I'm going to change some tires."
Are you a four-way tire iron salesman? What's happening here?
So I've got to ask, like, what was the deal then?
It's drugs. Oh. I stopped it for something stupid because all my good stops were something ridiculous.
Yeah.
License plate lights, tail lights, no turn signals.
And did you ever actually care about the license plate light or the turn signal?
Not a single bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're trying to find something worthwhile.
It's a reason. It is a valid, probable cause stop.
Yep.
To stick my head in your window and go,
yep.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah. And for the people like, oh, you stopped me for that? Don't you have something better to do? Maybe. Keep talking to me.
Yeah, let's find out.
There might be something better to do here. So we are trying to do those better to do things when we do the piddly stuff too. Yes.
And if you're all good, you're getting out of here with a business card and a see you later.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Business as usual. All right, that was way off track. We're bringing it back to we were talking about the pine bark, and then you're going to talk about your TRT. Yeah.
So I started
due to getting older and
getting
older
else. and men's issues.
Yeah.
Which helped greatly. Just in energy, like not needing 600 milligrams of caffeine to get through the day. Like that was immediate. I'm like, oh, I feel fun. Dude. Like I can jump up, I can wake up and I go about my day and not need a 2 p.m. nap, and I'm good. Yeah. And not crash at the end of the day.
Yeah. Not need a monster at noon, a nap at 2, and then another monster at 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And then 6 months down the road, I had lost pretty good weight loss. And I was talking to my doctor, and I've been doing research before this, but I was talking to my doctor, and I was asking I wanted to know if he could get me a constant glucose monitor. Okay. Because I wanted to start, I'd been diving into fasting.
Yeah.
So big fasting windows, not like 18-6, but like 24. Like I'm not eating food for 20 hours and then eating 2,000 calories in 4 hours, which is basically 2 meals.
Sure.
One at, this and then one at the back of the 4 and then going into fasting again. And I was getting good results with that. But I wanted to see if I eat a specific food, is that spiking my blood sugar?
Yep.
And I was trying to I wanted as minimal of blood sugar spike as I could throughout the day.
Yeah.
And the doctor looked at me and said, honestly, we could do that. But if you're going to spend money, I think putting you on a microdose of peptides would be a better route to go. And I had already, fortunately, if he just threw that at me, I'd been like, what? No.
Yeah.
But I'd already been researching peptides and what they do beforehand And so I know people are going to freak out because peptides are Ozempic,
Sure.
semaglutide, or tirzepatide is the one I'm on. People are going to freak out because that's how, there's a lot of people that are losing way too much weight and their stomachs are paralyzing and all a whole slew of bullshit. But the research that I've been doing, if you do a microdose of it, just a tiny little bit over a long period of time, the positive outcomes far outweigh anything negative.
Okay.
And that's the evidence I've been seeing.
Okay.
To a large degree. The thing that I would stress if anybody else is doing this is that you have to keep your protein intake way up.
I think that's a universal truth.
I think everybody should be eating their body weight in protein every day.
Yeah. Their body weight in grams of protein.
Grams of protein.
Not 210 pounds.
Not 210 pounds of protein.
Yeah.
210 grams of protein a day for maintenance. And then if you're trying to build muscle, you obviously add more. If you want to lose weight, take a little bit off. But you should, I think, 150 grams of protein a day, period, for men.
Yeah.
Is the minimum. And it's probably higher. It's more like 200 for men, period. I'm not a professional, by the way. That's just my opinion.
You're a professional in the realm of opinions. How about that?
I'm the professional in shit that works for me.
Yeah. Well, are any of us, though? Because what's working right now will be different in a year.
Right. So, we'll come out with something new, or some other study that has been paid for will come out.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing.
Uh-huh. And that's been going good for you.
It's going great. And then that's why I signed up for the gym today. Is I'm like, I'm losing a lot of weight very quickly. If I don't get on this now with strength training, resistance training, and fixing the diet to go along with the sciencey stuff, I'm going to deflate like a bad balloon.
Yeah.
I'm going to look weird.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be more health problems coming with that later on down the road.
I think that awareness is important because a lot of people could be like just looking at the scale, looking at the number.
Yeah, I'm losing weight. Yeah.
Thinking, heck yeah, you know what? I'm going to double down on this.
Yeah, cool. You have now lost 40% of your lean body, your lean mass.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
It's not as simple as just you insert whatever solution here and it's exclusively the body fat from the areas you want to lose being burnt. I mean, that'd be neat. That'd be real cool.
It would be cool.
There's billions to be made in that market, but it's not a thing.
Everybody looks for the magic pill, and this essentially is the magic pill. However, it's going to go horribly wrong if you don't help it along.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you just take it and ride, it's going to go bad.
Yeah.
And that kind of, that's mostly what I've been doing for myself and my family, because if I'm not around for my family,
Exactly. You're doing it for yourself, for your family.
Yeah.
That's it. Because I know you're busting your butt like a lot of guys are to keep your wife at home and make sure that your family can have her where I think my wife is best suited. Sounds like you think that your wife is best suited at home. And she had a professional career.
She
before
had a professional
you made a decision
career
to change things.
This is going to be some crow to eat. I was against it at first.
Okay.
I don't know if it was a selfish thing of I want more money coming in. Probably. It's probably what it was.
When we made the decision, I was really insecure about the financial situation.
And what happened is we had our first daughter, and we had family watching her for daycare, which was great. Loved it. That family moved, and we lost that daycare.
Okay.
And then the next daycare solution we found, I didn't really have great feelings about it, but it seemed safe. It had good reviews. Went with it.
Yeah.
And then one day, and I made the comment that I feel like she's crying an awful lot at home. Like when she comes home from the daycare at the end of the day, when we both get done with work, she's just crying, just upset. I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But then
about how old was she at this point?
Under 2, 18 months.
Okay. I'm like, as dad, I'm like, well, yeah, he's crying like he's a baby, like. Yeah. But mom has a way different sense about it.
Way different sense of it.
Yeah.
And then I think it was in December of whatever year it was. I'm not good at remembering years. My daughter comes home and everything's fine. I picked her up from daycare. I brought her home. Mom is unpacking her bag, like her backpack for the day with all the things. And in this bag, there is a note that says, is terminated from this daycare, you have 1 week. Like, you can bring her back for the next week, but this isn't working. Why?
What? Yeah.
What? No explanation other than, well, this just isn't working. And so I called that daycare, and I was less than professional.
Yeah.
And basically was like, we're done now. You don't want her there, I'm not going to bring her there. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if anything bad happened. It doesn't seem like anything bad happened, but this is just too weird. I don't like it. And it was at that point that I was like, man, I want you to stay home with her.
Were they ever able to give you...
Nope. Just, it's not going to work.
Was this like a private in-home daycare?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One of those licensed, like, I took her to some lady's house and she had 12 kids there.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. And then we found another one temporarily after that was great. She was a great one. But only had 3 kids in the home. And then it came to me and said, I want to stay home with my kids. I feel like I'm missing everything. And I was like, yep. Mm-hmm. I'll figure this out. And that was part of the decision to get out of welding and get into truck driving, because the opportunity for income was much higher.
Sure.
So, but that was a tumultuous time.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
A lot of transition, a lot of like, what the heck is going on with my kid? I'd be worried all kinds about
what happened. What went on?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if she wasn't getting along with kids there. I don't know if...
Yeah.
I don't know. And I might have jokingly suggested that I was going to burn that house down more than once.
Okay.
Jokingly.
Yeah.
Never did it.
Never had any actual intention or plan.
Did I?
No, you didn't. No.
But then also at the same time, I had not looked one bit at schools.
Okay.
I was like, she's 2. I don't have to worry about school right now. I'll worry about school when it's time to worry about school.
Right.
It was time to worry about school. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, we're not doing public school. It's not happening. Mm-hmm. I really want you to be home. And I never wanted.
And by public school, you mean government school?
Government school, yes. We need to talk about that at some point too.
That's.
I never wanted my wife to feel like she couldn't work or anything like that. I wanted to, if she was willing to stay home, I wanted her to stay home, and I wanted to figure out a way for her to stay home.
Because it's not working.
It's not. It's working more than I do. So
like sometimes if you get in that truck, or if I head into the PD,
it's a break.
I'm like,
I love my kids, but it's a break.
Yeah, yeah. They're saints.
Yes,
they are saints.
And there's been times that I'm like, hey, go get your haircut or whatever, and I'll stay with the kids for 2 hours, and I do my best not to send any text messages of like, please help me, come home now. But I feel it.
Been there.
I'm like, please rescue me. This is a lot.
I remember Tiffany she's tougher feeling it, and I'm like, go, go into the wild, go get coffee.
Yeah.
Go.
I need to be better.
Fill your gas tank.
Doing
something
it more,
because I knew she needed it, and I've told her this since then. But I was like, "Yeah, I wanted you to take as much time as you needed, but I was watching the map, wondering when you were going to start heading back this way, because Dad was in over his head." Yeah.
Yeah. I know all about that. So no, I'm glad that she has the opportunity to stay home.
Yeah. Yeah, you and I are on the same page for that, for sure, and the school stuff.
I wanted to homeschool for a long time, and she's quite emphatically stated, I don't know if I'm confident with that.
Okay.
Like, that's fine. That's fair. I wouldn't be.
Sure.
And we found some other options that we'll find out next month, actually, if she gets accepted to.
Nice.
So
nice. That's exciting.
But
yeah,
not doing public school, not doing government school.
Definitely
not happening.
And then that rolls right into how the family is working together to strengthen each other.
Yep.
Your wife is staying home to take care of the kids. You're in a completely different career that takes you away from home. You're not down the street anymore, and you do some overnight trips.
I do some overnight trips. I'm gone probably, 3, maybe 4 nights a week, which is better than the other job. The first one I had, the first trucking job I had, I was gone.
Yeah.
Gone. 3 weeks, bye.
Yep.
And that did not last very long because of the money and because of the time away.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not it. This is not it at all. Speaking of God things.
Yeah.
How I found my current job. So that motorcycle association that I'm involved with.
Yeah.
I was at an event, Labor Day, I think, maybe.
Okay.
Something like that. And there was a new member there that I had never met, had never seen. I knew his name, like I knew he existed. I'd heard his name. I'd never met the guy. And I met him. And I was just like, hey, nice to meet you. How's it going? What do you got going on? And he's like, oh, I do this and this and this. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. I'm getting into truck driving. He goes, cool, I know a guy that's looking for a driver. And I'm like, oh, give me his number. He gave me his number because where we work for now is contracted for him.
Okay.
I've never seen that dude again but like one other time. Just in the wind.
Yeah.
I called up the guy I work for now, and I said, hey, so-and-so gave me your number, said you're looking for a driver. And he's like, yeah, when can you start?
Huh.
Well, right now, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
As a matter of fact, tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good situation.
And it's more than just a job. And I don't know how far into the personal things you want to get to, but I know that it helped you get your family further north.
Out of town.
Out of town? Yep. Out of town. And it seems like that has worked out really well.
I got to move into the county with a little bit of land. Not enough land. Not what I want land, but a little bit.
Enough room to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no neighbors. Mm-hmm. Nearest neighbor, 500 feet. Mm-hmm. Probably more like 1,000 feet.
Yeah, and that's like to the driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Next nearest neighbor, quarter mile.
Yeah. Yeah, which I know when you were living in town was something that you guys wanted, just the room to breathe. And
we
going back into health stuff, you wanted a garden and chickens, and we've talked about all sorts of all the things that you can do to provide food for yourself.
Bird flu, and apparently you can't buy eggs at the grocery store anymore.
What?
Yeah.
I just bought some the other day.
Well, yeah, for $10.
They were stupid expensive.
Why are eggs that expensive?
Dude, so feed is expensive too.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what it's like on a commercial level, like for the producers, for the grocery stores and whatnot. But we've done turkeys and we've done ducks, and Tiffany wants to do eggs from chickens now that... Actually, no, she wants to do meat chickens, not eggs. But her parents do eggs, and feed is expensive.
My problem with feed being expensive, which it is that not on a commercial level, chickens are self-sustaining. You bring your food scraps out there, they're fed.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Why can commercial egg growers, chicken growers, not work out deals with restaurants in town? Give us scrape the plates, give it to us. Why is that not a thing? Why are eggs $10 for 12?
Yeah.
Make that make sense to me.
It doesn't be. They used to be so
because of
dang
bird
cheap.
flu. You mean COVID part 2? Really?
Well, how?
Sorry, my bad.
No, well, let's save that for the conspiracy episode, because the intentional destruction of manufacturing facilities, whether it's processing facilities for meat, or there were a bunch of chicken facilities that were burnt to the ground. I mean,
that.
we've seen this
Yes.
in a variety of industries. All of a sudden, a freak accident, and sometimes freak accidents happen, but 3, 4, or 5 freak accidents all happening in the same month for the same industry, and I don't know.
Do you want to talk about a city burning down with no water in their hydrants? Do we want to go there?
No,
Let's save that.
We'll save
Let's
that
save
one.
that.
We'll save that one.
Let's wait for that one to work itself out for a minute.
God's timing. Meeting a dude that you've seen one other time who gets you set up with a new job, essentially.
And then is in the wind. I know where his office is, but like I don't see that dude regularly.
Yeah.
He literally just dropped in, gave me a phone number, and exited stage left.
God's
and
timing.
I had a job.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
That's awesome.
What? Make that make sense. I feel like that's my catchphrase the last couple of years. Make that make sense. It does. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Because none of it does make sense. It's wild. We've been on a wild ride.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Your family's doing well. You got a second kid now.
I do have a second
Trying
kid.
to raise her up the right way.
And she's crawling.
Yeah.
I saw her actual, like, it's been, like, I saw her, the first time she was crawling was kind of the funny, like, the push forward.
Yeah.
I saw her today, like, full monster crawl. And you're like, wow!
Yep. And is she like 7 months, 6 months now?
7? Coming into 8?
Dang. It's crazy.
Yeah, got that right.
Yeah. So there you are, taking care of your family, strengthening your family. Your family's doing the same. And here you are,
figuring out how to grow our own food. We're going to get into chickens. I've got the chicken coop. I need to build a pen or a move thing. Because we have a lot of coyotes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get them.
I don't necessarily. I'm not against shooting coyotes. I'm not. I just don't think it should be the first go-to because coyotes, like, they're good. They're good for our environment. Coyotes are.
Predators do have their place.
They have their place.
They do.
Am I down?
Your chicken coop is not the place.
Am I down for introducing wolves to a place that wolves have been gone from for 100 years? No, I'm not. I'm not down for that.
No,
I'm not down for depredation of cattle and all that. Coyotes. I have a big dog that's a pretty good coyote deterrent.
There you go.
She likes to eat them. if I let her.
Has she gotten after them?
She choked herself on her chain one day trying to get after one.
Dang.
I had one that was probably within 130 yards.
Yeah.
And she went bananas, and I was up out of the chair and came out that door, and that coyote went, I'm out.
First, she was just kind of like intimidated by Cozy. And then Tatanka rolls through the door like the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah.
Saying, no, not today, coyote.
But so we'll figure out the chickens in a pen situation. Garden I've got planned. I got to build it. I'm gonna do it nice, and figure out my watering situation because I'm not gonna. I'll figure out the water situation.
What's that mean?
My rain barrels in the back that are going to be hidden from the state officials.
Dude, okay. You cannot tax the rain. That'll get me fired up. We don't.
What do you mean I can't have this water falling from the sky? Make that.
Oh, jeez, dude. Man.
Yeah, no.
I'm
gonna take the water from the sky.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on my food that I'm gonna eat and not pay taxes on. Ha! And then I don't have enough room for cattle, but literally across the fence from me, there's a lot of room for cattle, and there's another family that leases and runs cattle on it. So I'm going to talk to them and see if I can put four or five head on.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That's how we started bison, was absentee ownership.
Yeah, with the Nebraska ranch, right?
Yep.
I remember the name.
That was the Rocky Hollow Ranch. Or it was the Monkey Ranch, but Rocky Hollow Buffalo Company.
And then they're gone now too, right?
They are gone now.
Yeah.
The the bison industry has drastically changed the last few years. They are happy, healthy, and successful on other ventures now, and I'm happy for them because they're very dear friends of ours.
So the ranch is still there, just not
the
bison.
ranch exists. Yeah, it was sold to someone else. I think they're running cows out there now. But yeah, that's how we started bison.
Cows have their place too. I like.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, dude. Like we went to dinner last night with my in-laws, and I had a commercially raised beef ribeye.
Can I tell you the best meal I've had this year?
Yeah,
was in Cody. I don't remember the name of the steakhouse, but with that 16-ounce honker, that was so good.
I remember that because you got the last one.
Yep.
The server came up, took our order. We all ordered those bison steaks.
And she's like, "That's it. That's the last one."
And then she came back like, "There's only one left."
Yeah.
And
we gave the last bison steak to One Eye.
That's right.
Because he had never had it.
And it was a filet, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
We the three of us got cow, and One Eye got bison.
Yeah. That was a good one. It was a good one.
And it wasn't stupid expensive either.
No.
Because I had been planning on it. I knew we were going to do that, and I was like, I'm going to go, and if I drop $100 on steak dinner, so be it.
Yeah.
Didn't even come close. I was like, what?
No, that was a good one.
That was great.
Yeah, cows definitely have their place in their...
Did you sell your bike?
No.
No?
I tried, kind of.
But you still have it?
I have my bike. It's in the garage.
So we're going on DSR again. Modified.
I have commitment issues.
Modified.
Don't put me on the spot. There is a high likelihood of yes.
Okay. Because we're going to go get steaks again.
Dude, if I don't have my bike, I will drive you. Or I will drive there
you can be the trailer man.
I'm down. Like, that's fine. Because then I'll have a truck bed to sleep in instead of my 18-inch sleeping pad.
There's nothing wrong with an 18-inch sleeping pad. As long as you're 18 inches wide.
Yeah.
I am not.
Well, that's the thing. Is like, I think I'm not you wide, but I'm more than that sleeping pad wide. Yeah. Anyways, we can even make a summer trip. I don't care. Like, we'll just... Because the center of the West, I wanted to cruise through there again.
So...
and you don't have time on DSR with everything going on and hanging out with people, so...
We've got one trip planned in March. We're going to go to Arizona on trailers for a combat vets event. And then tentatively, I'm taking a long week off for DSR. But at the beginning, like the week before, there's an event, a combat vets event in North Dakota that we're going to go to. And then goof around. And... None of us paid for tickets this year. Mm-hmm. So I asked Brady if it was cool. If like, we're still going to go. We'll just not eat your food or sleep on your campgrounds and figure out our own.
Yeah.
Which gives us the freedom to do whatever we want.
Yeah. It's like you happen to be riding on the same road, the same weekend.
Can't kick me off the road.
Seeing the same people. Yeah.
What are you, a trooper? No.
Checking with Brady, I think, was the right thing. Like, just to be respectful of what they've built there.
Yeah.
But, it sounds cool. Well, bike or not, I'll drive to Cody for a steak.
There you go.
Yeah. And even maybe that means I just haul everybody else's stuff around with me.
That would be great, because then I could take my tour pack off, and I hate that thing.
I do. I know.
I cannot stand that thing back there.
Yeah. And it's necessary, because if you don't have that, you're like me with
my stuff.
Ratchet straps and backpacks, and it gets squirrely.
Yeah.
But
that bike rides so much differently without it. I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, I've got my bike.
Okay.
I've got it.
You told me you were going to sell it, and I was like, I understand. Don't do it.
And we were coming out of riding weather into everyone puts their bikes away. Mm-hmm. The best time to sell is coming out of winter into spring.
And it's riding season.
I need a motorbike. So I can't say that I'll still have my bike come DSR time. Just, it's tough, and priorities have changed.
Yeah, I get that.
I love it.
Yeah.
But the frequency with which I actually get out to ride is so infrequent that
I basically just asked like one time a year. Just let me have one event a year. I'm taking two this one, but
Yeah.
Let me have one good one.
Yeah.
If I have to ride to church to grocery store, that's fine. But
yeah. Well, and we got up early that one morning. I punished you by getting up before.
it was very early.
Before you wanted to.
That was also, I hadn't started all my fun stuff yet, so I was still relying on 600 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah. Yeah. If I can cruise over and rip around the foothills a little bit, I do enjoy it. But we'll see. I was trying to sell the bike because I didn't know how I was going to fill the propane tank this year. God had another way for me to make that happen. Thankfully, he always comes through for us.
Yeah, he does.
But I know I'm going to get to a point where I would rather have a horse in the pasture than a bike in the garage. I know that. So we'll see what happens.
No, I get that entirely, because I'm always wondering, like, well, how am I going to pay you for meat? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that?
Yeah. It's life. That's what we're getting through. But there it is. What else? What other thoughts do you might maybe possibly have on what strength in your herd means to me, or means to you? Sorry.
I think it's just doing. It's basically living the Bible. Do unto others as you want done unto you.
Anyone listening, you can't see the heavy, absolutely in fact nods going on right now.
Yeah, that's all it is. You just get your Bible out, read it, do what it says.
Yeah.
Improve the people around you, improve yourself.
Yeah. We are called to serve and love others.
Don't tear people down.
No. It's hard not to.
Oh yeah?
Dude, I can be a salty bitch sometimes. I would never think that you could ever possibly be that way yourself. But I know I can. And
one of my vests has a patch on the inside that says, "Don't be a salty bitch."
Does it? Really?
Yeah.
No. Well, maybe I should find one of those patches too. Because,
all right, cool.
Yeah. It's hard to live Christ-like and walk in that.
I had a situation pop up recently. We can talk about. I won't say names. An individual that was previously working with us, he left and got a different job. Not under bad circumstances, just went to something different. Backed into my pickup truck. Damaged my pickup bed. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good, Dan. It's a whop. And at the time, I don't know if this would be surprising to you, but I used to have really, really bad temper. I used to get really mad about things, and I used to yell really, really loud.
I saw you drop your bike once, and I got scared for myself.
Exactly. Yeah. So keep that in mind. This dude calls me up, and you could tell because he's young. He's young. Not just out of high school, but not far from it. And he was he's like, "Hey, I'm really, really sorry, but I backed into your truck." And to my own surprise, I was like, "Hey, man, stuff happens. How bad is it?" And he sent me a picture. I was like, "Whew, that's pretty bad." And he's like, "I'll make it right." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Cool.
But then it's been several months, and it hasn't been remedied. It hasn't been made right. And I was getting pretty heated. Every time I thought about it, I was getting mad. Man, I was so patient. I was forgiving. I didn't push the issue. I didn't ask for his insurance to claim it on his insurance. I was just okay, you said you're going to make it right. You're going to make it right. Handshake, deal, eye contact. We're good to go here. Make it right. And it wasn't happening, and I was getting mad. And to the point that I was like, I'm going to give him a month, and I'm going to small claims this because this crap. And it was like, "Don't you dare." And I'm like, What do you mean, don't you dare? She's like, "Don't you dare. Do you not remember what it was like to be his age and need help?" And I'm like,
whoo. But I needed to be taught a lesson at that age too. Come on.
I said that too. I was like, somebody's got to teach him. It's like, the fact that you said that shows me where your heart is. And I was like, God, stop it. Stop it right now.
Yeah.
And she lit me up. And the fact, I was just sitting on the couch like this. And she's like, "Are you mad at me?" And I'm like, "No. You're right.
I'm mad at myself."
Like a little kid. Yeah. Yesterday, dude calls me. He's like, "Hey, I've got a big check coming in. This will be done by the end of the week. And I'm like, awesome. Thanks. I appreciate it. See, I told you. You ain't it.
Yeah.
Ain't it. But I saw a thing that was like,
awesome.
When I get mad, the old me and the new me start beefing with how to handle it. Because I'm like, I want to yell and get mad. But then I'm also like, just let it go. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is not a big deal. It's not a big deal. The truck still drives.
Yeah.
It didn't impair the operation of the vehicle at all. It just looks ugly and lost value on it. I wasn't going to sell the truck. It's already 22 years old. I'm not going to sell the thing. I'm going to drive it into the ground. And then I'm probably going to rebuild it. I like the truck.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
But what? He damaged your truck that still drives?
Did he do it on purpose?
No.
Was it malicious? Like,
No.
was he out there like,
No.
oh, I'm gonna get this guy? No.
And
he called you terrified. And I don't mean, you said he's a younger kid. I don't know how old he is, but dude, I remember it's never easy, right? But I remember when I was younger.
Yeah, crashing your car and you're like, my dad's gonna kill me. That feeling?
Or just like, I remember I was shooting my BB gun in my grandpa's backyard. BB ricocheted and broke his window.
Yeah.
And what I had to dig deep to go tell him.
I broke your window. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like the fear, the anger, and like I was fortunate that he showed me grace similar to what you showed this kid. And like, okay,
but well, you know that's not not my normal reaction. Like my normal reaction is like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? What were you doing? Were you being stupid? Like blah blah blah. Tear one upside down the other, and I was like, all right, man, that's cool. Dumb stuff happens.
Yeah. I mean,
what?
Lord knows you could have gone full state trooper on that kid and just ripped him to shreds.
No, that's for the tent guy.
The tent guy. That's another story.
Yeah, but it's in her telling me, do you not remember what it was like to be that age? And when you screwed up, because I've screwed up, and when I needed help, did I get help? Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm. Whether you deserved it or not.
Right. Which I didn't.
I've got stories of people that kind of went to the mat for me when I didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Or grace I was shown when. But isn't that the point?
Yeah.
Like
and so I'm still mad about it.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I didn't call the dude up. I didn't send him an enraged text message telling him to figure it out. He's got a week or
Right.
I just didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. I didn't react. I just, all right.
Yeah.
Not happy about it, but I'm just going to take it.
There you go.
And he calls me 3 days later. Hey, man, I'm working on it. Okay. All right.
It's not our timing. It's his.
Right.
God's. Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
So, yeah. When I get mad, the old me and the new me start to beef a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's part of where I was driving with that is just living the word, which I don't know very well. Self-confessed. I'm still learning it.
I don't either. I used to be ashamed to say it. Now I'm just more humbled because I'm trying to seek that understanding and trying to develop the discipline to get into it more.
Discipline, yeah.
Yeah, but it's weird. As soon as you start trying to do the right thing becomes harder. The devil leaves you alone when he doesn't need to worry about you and his agenda.
Yeah, he's being a shithead.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, he's trying to clean it up. I better go mess with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're coming up on an hour and a half.
It's pretty good.
And you don't have off days often.
No.
I want to be able to get you back to your family for dinner and see that little girl crawling again.
Mm-hmm. A little monster crawl.
But, dude, I want to say thank you for being part of my herd.
Yeah.
And tell you that you've been... There's a reason I wanted you to be the first one on here. One, because we've done a couple podcasts before, so I knew that it would, as I figure out what I'm doing here with this podcast, that it would just be easier.
I'm getting pretty comfortable with them.
Yeah.
The first few I was a little like, ah!
Yeah. But just what you've been to our herd in a variety of ways. We became kind of friends-ish, met once or twice before. I spent a weekend on the road with you and your friends. And I try hard not to be the third wheel and crash people's parties. So I tried to just like stay on the outskirts and like let you guys do your thing, but also had that strength in numbers.
We're not about that, though.
No,
and
not
that's
at all.
and I think people underestimate, especially the combat group portion of it, or even just the veteran group portion of it, is that we don't care.
Yeah.
Come as you are, man. I don't care.
But you and everyone else were great about trying to keep bringing me in. I was trying to be respectful of your group dynamic and stay on the outside.
Veterans are pretty rowdy, and we're pretty good at being like, hey, get over here.
Well, I remember Czech and G both yelled at me when we were setting up tents.
What are you doing all the way over there?
Coulter Bay.
Yeah.
We were all just kind of finding a spot, and they're like, oh, yeah, there's a flat spot over there. Like, do you guys mind if I come, set up over here and crash the party? Like, and Czech was like, dude, like, it's been all weekend. We want you here. If we didn't want you around,
stop it.
You would know.
You'd be well
and
aware.
Then, like, through this, he realizes he's yelling at me, and I'm finally like, okay, like, I can communicate this way. Like, I feel like maybe I'm getting there, and he tries to pull himself back and be like, I'm sorry, like, yes, please come set up with us.
Veterans and law enforcement, you're the same.
Yeah.
The way that we communicate, we've talked about this before, especially with like the general public.
Yeah.
We have one mode, and it's normally sarcastic, dry, aggressive, foul a little bit, sometimes plus or minus a little bit.
Yeah.
And veterans and law enforcement, like that's how we communicate.
Right.
It works well. We understand it. I don't have to question what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he's being sarcastic. Like,
yeah.
I know.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to, like, people will come up and make jokes at me, and I'm like, are you trying to be funny, or are you an asshole right now? I'm not sure which is the way to go. But if you say the same thing to me, I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah. No, that's very much true. But, between that and the Save One stuff and, helping us, supporting us, building the ranch, and stuff like that, you've been a strong part of this herd. And I remember it's happened for a bunch of times, but I remember one time in particular, you text me and you asked me, how's the battle going? And the ability to ask that question in that moment with that phrasing,
doesn't matter.
I think goes a long way.
I don't care.
Right. I think it goes a long way. And I was like, which battle? And he said, the one you're worried about. And I don't know. It's one example of several where people can oftentimes be like, hey, dude, haven't heard from you in a while. Like, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Cool. Talk to you in a few months. And you're like, nah, there's something more. You want to get beyond that.
I get tired.
Oh, dude, I'm
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we know what fine means. It's easy. It lets the other person off the hook. I don't have to unload on you. You don't actually have to care. And for me, I'll usually ask buddies, like, how's your head? How's your heart? Because it's not always the same.
No.
And you
heart could be good and your head could be a mess.
Yeah.
Or other way. Head could be good and your heart could be struggling.
Yeah.
Another one with somebody's, I'll know specifically that they are struggling. Like I'm very well aware that they are in a dark place. I don't want to push them. I don't want to like force them into anything they don't want to. And I'll literally just ask, you breathing?
Yeah.
Yup. Cool.
Yeah.
End of conversation.
Because sometimes, I've been there. You've probably been on that side of receiving that communication. Just be like, I can't get into this with you right now, but thank you for letting me know that you're still thinking about me. Because that's in such a far distant way, a very close way to let someone know, don't you dare let me down right now.
Yeah.
Don't you dare. Keep going. And whatever you need, I'm here. You just got to let me know. Yeah, so...
There's I think with not being a combat veteran and hanging around actual combat veterans, I feel a lot of like fraud.
Imposter syndrome.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
And I'm very aware of it. And I sometimes will start to like tiptoe because I'm like, these guys all know that I don't know the same shit that they know.
Right.
I know different shit,
Sure.
I know law enforcement on the road, nastiness.
Yeah.
It is not the same as Afghanistan nastiness.
Yep.
Different and worse in different ways. But I'll start to feel imposter syndrome, and Matt always tells me to shove it, stick it up where the sun don't shine.
But he's like the kindest, like
right.
dirtiest guy I know.
I call him real life Trevor from Grand Theft Auto.
All right.
Where was I going with this? And I think because of that imposter syndrome and not feeling on the same level or feeling inadequate.
Yeah.
That it's like my job now is to make sure all of my guys are good, because that's the only thing I can do for them. I wasn't there when they were dealing with their shit, but I'm here now and they're dealing with shit. So I better be the one that like catches them. I don't know.
There's no obligation for you to do that. There's no expectation for you to do that. There's a calling.
Yeah.
And dude, that's what I love about you is we can phrase it any way we want. And this is the Strength in Your Herd podcast, right? And it's a motto and a slogan, but it's for me, for Tiffany, and for you, that core, that value of taking care of people goes so far beyond it.
Yeah.
Just a catchphrase or an obligation, because you're not on the hook for any of that,
and
but you still do it.
I can't necessarily fix their problems for them, but I'll try.
Yeah.
Maybe even just, what do I, maybe try this, or have you thought about this, or I don't know, man, that sucks. Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to not talk about it? We can do that too. I'm perfectly down to not talk about things.
Yeah.
That's oftentimes, for me, it's a solution sometimes. Is this is bothering me. I would like to go out and eat a steak and not talk about it. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Let's go do that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
we've had conversation like that sometimes, and it's like, hey, this is the problem right now. We're not going to talk about it.
Let's go ahead and build a wall around that problem for a little while.
Yeah. Thank you for knowing that this is what's going on with me right now.
Yeah.
So you're not, and you don't sit across the table awkward like, oh, well, how do I fix this first? It's like,
no, I can't. I cannot.
It's like,
I'll try, but I cannot.
Yeah, man, that sucks. Mm-hmm. That steak's real good, though.
Yeah, real good.
Yeah. Well, heck, dude. I appreciate you.
I appreciate
what
you.
you've done for us, and excited to see your family growing. And I don't know. I just like to see you successful, and I've told you like how proud of you I am for some of the big changes you've made before I even knew you well enough to care and to have a reason to be proud. But I think you're making the right moves, and you've been a big part of us in starting this, and I love you for it, and I thank you for being part of our herd.
I dabbled in it just enough to get you interested.
Yeah. Any words of wisdom, parting thoughts, or grand finales?
I don't know. Just do better. Do 1% better. If you do 1% better every single day, by the end of the year, you're 356% better. How many days are there in a year? 354?
It depends.
356?
Leap year?
You're at least 300% better if you do 1% better every day. Let's go with that.
Sometimes you don't hit it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Sometimes.
Just try.
Just dig in and hold on and don't go backwards. If you do go backwards, you can still go forwards.
Cool.
It's prophetically not prophetic.
All right, man. That's a wrap. Cool. We'll get you out of here.